record this, just get it. And I'm going to go with what Zoom is telling me. So I met today with a great professional in the power sports industry. In fact, you may know him and you may recognize the shirt. Speed the Lead. If you look down here, it says Dealer Lead Pro. There we go. Dealer Lead Pro. Joe Airbaron, super solid guy with Go Beyond Creative. And him and I were having some discussions. And in the course of these discussions, I say to myself, that'd be a great topic for a micro moment. That'd be a great topic for a micro moment. That would be a great topic for a micro moment. And then you start thinking, well, by the time I put all this together, it gets to be where when you spend time with people that have value, people that recognize value and have value, when you spend time with those people, you can come away with enough ideas to do a series of lives or a podcast or something like that. On today's thing, we had talked about a few things, and one of them that really caught my attention, and that is more of a LinkedIn related subject, especially in a business to business marketplace, is when you are selling business to business and your thing, your topic, your passion piece falls on deaf ears. That is not always the time to go, I should take a pause. In some cases, it's an indication that you just need to double down. Let me explain myself. I'm trying to, obviously gain awareness for the Power Sport Academy. It's our #1 project at Mañana No Mas. I have a passion for it. People would say, Kurt, why do you keep working with power sports dealers? If they don't want to do it, they just don't want to do it. Case in point, I was cold calling. I do that. I was cold calling some dealers, and I basically pulled up a list of dealers. I said, okay, boom, Arizona, boom, call this dealer. And I call and I say, someone answers the phone, and I'm happy and I'm cheerful. And I say, hey, good afternoon. This is Kurt with the Power Sport Academy. I was hoping I could get in touch with either your general manager or the owner of the store. And so guy picks up the phone, and for story's sake, we'll say it's Bob. So when he answers the phone, he doesn't say, hey, thanks for calling ABC. This is Bob. How can I help you? He picks up the phone. He goes, yep, Bob. Oh, hey, Bob. This is Kurt. I'm with the Power Sport Academy. First questions first. Are you aware of what the Power Sport Academy is? And he goes, nope. I go, oh, okay. Pardon me. I didn't cough on him. I said, oh, okay. Well, the Power Sport Academy is a project that helps service departments sell more parts and labor. And he doesn't even hesitate. He just goes, nah, we good. Folks, I'm going to tell you, when he went, nah, we good, I vapor locked. You don't think of me as being a speechless kind of person, but I didn't have a good response. And I was thinking of Joe Marcoux at that moment, the sales trainer and the guy that does the SOS dojo, right? The sales objections guy. And I was at a loss because I thought to myself, how am I going to show value to somebody that is so happy with mediocrity? How am I going to do this? So let me fast forward and just be honest with you. I just said, well, Bob, thanks for taking my call, and maybe we'll talk again some other time. Have a great day. And I got off the phone. And I know that that's what he wanted. He just wanted someone off the phone. He answers the call, and I was talking to my sister about this. She does sales, and this guy's thinking, anyone that calls me, anyone that gets in touch with me, it's going to take effort, energy, money. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with anything else new today. I just want to get through the day. I understand that some people feel like that. However, I have had coaching calls this last year with our existing clients where one phone call may have netted $100,000 for that business, just in the difference of tweaking something in that service department. And that's not an exaggeration. People that are in the motorcycle industry, the automotive industry, working in the marine industry, if you are aware of the service department, you're aware that there are some things that can happen or that become a habit. And you can, through coaching, identify the habit and go, well, wait a minute, is this something that you do all the time? Well, let's take a look at this. Let's run these numbers backwards. If we were to switch this, change this, alter this process, what would that equal for opportunity for you to create more revenue? And so, I do that quite a bit with people I'm coaching. And so, good old Bob, right? Nah, we're good. And it really took me aside. I was like, wow. So then let me fast forward. I'm at a dealership and I'm in talking to the service department, and a customer comes in. The customer's irate, not irate like spitting and cursing and throwing things, but they're obviously upset. And they're like, hey, when is my unit going to be done? Like, I've been calling, nobody's calling me back. I sent you an email, nobody emailed me back. You said you were going to send my head out to the machine shop. I don't know if you got the head back. I don't know if the thing's getting rebuilt. I don't know what's going on, but I need to ride my UTV. So I'm standing there, and the service writer is like, man, sorry about that. We've been so busy around here. We've been understaffed. Everyone's tired of that. Stop saying it. Stop saying it. But they go, we've been so busy around here. We've been understaffed. And, we sent that head out to the machine shop. You know what a machine shop is like. You get it when you get it. If I get a chance later, I'll follow up on it, and I'll try and get back to you and let you know when we might see that come in. So the customer's not happy because it's not really an answer, right? And so the customer leaves. And as I turn around to walk away from the back of the counter, I trip on a box that's heavy. And you already know what's in the box: the cylinder head. And I go, isn't that a cylinder head right there? And he looks at me and he kind of has a sheepish grin. And then he goes, man, we've been so busy. I didn't have a chance to drop it off over there yet. I hope I can get it over there in the next day or so. So the service writer is telling the customer, machine shops, dealing with them is like, be lucky, we get it when we get it. Meanwhile, he hadn't even sent it over there yet. Now, I did a little coaching on the spot, and that coaching is, dude, man, wouldn't it have been easier just to take ownership of that? Or wouldn't it have been easier to return the phone call or the email days ago? And just be honest, if you're shorthanded then, and say, hey, Mr. Jones, super sorry. Look, I got to take the hit on this for you. I didn't get it over to the machine shop yet. We've been really backlogged over here. I tell you what, if you have the ability to drop this off at the machine shop for us, I can probably, skim a little off the invoice for you to compensate you for your time. We really want to get you taken care of. I just haven't had a chance to get it over there yet. Our delivery guy was out or whatever. But own up, be honest with the situation, right? So be honest, take ownership, communicate, be proactive, come up with a solution, give the customer a chance to have some buy-in with the program, cut the customer a little bit of slack here, there, or somewhere else, and get things handled. And so what I go back to by telling you this story is, picture that going on in that service department, picture that visit happening, and then picture me calling his general manager and saying, hey, I offer a program where I teach service departments how to increase their parts and labor sales. And the guy goes, nah, we good. They're not good. So when you are offering something in a business to business sales environment, a lot of times the people that you need to sell to aren't even really the people that you would work with. So in my situation, that's completely true. I would work with the service writer and the service managers and technicians to a certain extent, and parts people to a certain extent. The only time the sales manager really gets involved, or the general manager really gets involved, is when I hold training that basically works on the departments communicating well with each other. Where sales is going to turn over customers to service, and service is going to turn over customers to sales. So there are instances when there is some involvement with sales, but realistically, most general managers try and stay away from service. They try to ignore the service department if they can. And so when I call, but they're the customer, they're the ones that are going to make the approval. Like the general manager or the owner is going to be who green lights the training. That's who's going to make the purchase. So in that instance, in a business to business sales model, when it falls on deaf ears, that's not necessarily a sign to go, got to put this thing on pause, got to shut it down. I must have the wrong idea. I'm going in the wrong direction. You will negative speak yourself out of something that is very much needed. And you have to get back to your why. You have to get back to your, what's the reason I do this? What's the reason that I want to pursue A, B, and C? I've had a lot of people ask me over the last year or two, hey, Kurt, since you went independent, how's it been going? I tell them that honestly has not been going very well. I'd love to have more dealers, in our network. I would love to have more dealers that we can add value to. I'd love to help more employees find economic sustainability working at motorcycle dealerships. If you look at hiring, if you were to do look at STEM or CTE research to see, what the longevity was for people in the power sports industry, it's actually not even that great. And so when you look at all these things, you go, oh my goodness, why would you want to work in that industry? It's horrible. And I grew up with motorcycles. I love motorcycles. I love to ride motorcycles. I raced motorcycles for almost 20 years. So if it's a part of me and it's something that I have a passion piece for, and I have the ability to add value and help people meet customers' expectations, exceed customer expectations, increase parts and labor sales, create economic sustainability within these departments, which in turn grows the overall business, why would I not put my eggs in that basket? That's the question. There's a part of me that actually feels guilty that I think about, power sports ain't working, I'll just move on to something else. There's a part of me that feels guilty for thinking that way, even though my friends that have left the power sports industry are like, oh, thank God I left the power sports industry. It was on a downward spiral and I got out while I could. Well, over the last 2 years, due to the Corona incident, motorcycle sales have gone up. Demand has gone up. UTV sales are through the roof. And so there's no better time. There's no more needed time than now. Think of all these new customers, new owners, the demand has gone up, right? So think of all these new people entering the market, and they bring these things home and they don't do what people expect them to do, or they don't hold up. Or people with these UTVs, they take them out to the desert, run into a giant rock out there and things break. Well, obviously they need service. They need help. They need someone to assist them with the ownership of the vehicle. And if no one's there to help, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? So I look at it as my job is I train people in that. There are things called 20 groups. And if you're in a different kind of retail, you might understand this like there might be realtor organizations or mortgage organizations or dentist associations. Well, just like that, there's a thing called 20 groups. Pardon me. And dealers will join these 20 groups and they'll get together in a little circle and they'll discuss their numbers and hey, this number's up, this number's down, this should be here, this should be there. The owners and the general managers generally go to those meetings and they leave with a set of goals. And what the Power Sport Academy does is it basically puts the training on the ground, working with field staff that gives them the skill set and the knowledge of how to make those goals a reality. When an owner goes to a thing like a 20 group, they leave with an idea of, well, service needs to sell more consumables. Service needs to sell more maintenance, on top of the warranty repairs. Service needs to, but they don't really have a way to articulate that to their staff. They just go back from their 20 group meeting and go, well, you guys got to work harder, work faster, and you got to get us better results. Old school, prior to, this new era of leadership that we talk about so frequently, old school, work harder, work faster, that almost used to be a mantra, right? Used to be a way to get things done. But nowadays, you gotta talk to people, you gotta cast the vision, and you gotta say, well, this is where we're at, this is where we want to go. And to get from here to here, we got to go boom, 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 boom. And you got to lay out the pavers and show them the path. And people in a ownership or general manager type position at a dealership generally might have that knowledge on how to do that, but they realistically don't have the bandwidth in their day-to-day to work with the staff and get their staff up to that level. So having someone like Power Sport Academy come in and fix that, well, that makes that much easier, makes it that much more clear cut, and it gives you a measurable. You can look at it. It's like a SMART goal, right? A SMART goal, the M is for measurable. And so you use KPIs to take measurement and see what kind of the return is on the cost of the training. And that's how we know that we're giving people better than 10x on what we work with people on. And so those were a couple of things that came up when I was talking to my friend Joe this morning. It was kind of a back to basics, right? How to take care of customers, how to answer phones, how to greet people, how to take ownership, how to really identify with the customer and get the customer what they need, how to work with the original equipment manufacturer, not from a working for them, but working with them perspective. We talked about that. And we did talk about this business to business sales when it falls on deaf ears. And I think about how many people I know that are kind of in this market position where they're trying to identify their avatar. They're trying to identify their ideal customer. They're trying to reach their ideal customer. And they just one stumbling block after another stumbling block after another stumbling block. And I just wanted to assure people that doesn't mean that the concept or the idea is dead on arrival. That does not mean that you've got the wrong product. What it means is you've got the wrong audience. You've got the wrong avatar. You've got the wrong methodology for reaching the right audience. And that's something that I had to examine myself. And that's why we're changing things up a little bit at the Power Sport Academy so that we can reach the people we need to reach when we need to reach them. When I run across the, nah, we good. When I run across those people, part of me wants to just write them off, just cross them off the list and forget about them. But I have a hard time doing that. Here's why. That person's probably making 150 grand a year, sitting up front, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, hanging out with the salesman, and really shining when it counts to close deals on the sales floor, right? I can see that would be a value there. But what about the guys in the back in the shop that are really struggling through a poor service culture, through poor sales modalities at the service counter, through a lack of follow-up on getting zero time paid for or extra time paid for on certain warranty repairs, where they're just constantly working and not being compensated for the work they do? What about those technicians? What about those lot people? Sometimes we call them porters. What about those porters that work there? What about the service writer? What about the service manager? If they're paid partially on commission, what if working with me could raise their rate of pay by 30, 40%? Those are the people that I'm driven and impassioned to help. Now, when I help them, a side effect is that general manager and the owner, well, they're going to come across, new windfalls as well. However, chances are they're a little too comfortable in their position to recognize what we can do for everything in the back end. And somehow I need to change that perception. I need to change that. I need to double down. I can point the finger at them all day long, but I need to take a look at what am I doing as part of Power Sports Academy to make this better? How can I approach that audience with a stronger message? What should be my return to, nah, we good? I'd love your comments here. Now, I'll be honest with you, the screen for LinkedIn seems to have gone dead on me here, and I'm not seeing the comments come in. There we go. There we go. Do we have any comments in here yet? Streams, comments. Let's see. I'm not seeing any comments here, but when I take a look at that response and I look at how I froze in that moment, I think to myself, what would a really great salesperson do? What would a Joe Marcoux do in that position? Hey, I'm great. I'm glad you got it all handled there, Bob. Maybe you could train my people. Maybe, you don't want to be a smart ass, but how do you overcome, nah, we good? Because Bob, you ain't good. Sometimes I think that I want to ask more questions. Like I want to say, oh, that's fantastic. Is your efficiency over 85%? That's fantastic. Is your customer satisfaction over 90% on the Pied Piper report? Is there, it makes me want to ask those qualifying questions. But to a guy that goes, nah, we good, chances are he might not even know what those numbers are. Then you run into the thing of, you hurt his feelings or you embarrass them, or and you don't want to have a negative experience. You want to have a positive experience. So I'm kind of interested in, if you're watching this long, what would your feedback be? It's interesting. I ask for feedback a lot, and sometimes I get it. Sometimes y'all will go to the Mañana No Mas website, hit the contact link, and send me messages through the website. I get a kick when that happens because I get the email and notification and stuff. So that little dopamine hit, right? Like, oh, my website works, woohoo! But there's that. But I think about how I'm releasing this book soon. It's called Action Leadership from the Edge, and Action Leadership from the Edge talks about how, and this is my personal belief, I believe that everybody is called to a certain level of leadership. Everybody's called to a certain level of leadership. But in my example, you could have a really small group of people that you pour value into, and they look at you as a leader, right? But you're only responsible for your sweet spot. So if this is the circle, you're only responsible for one little seat on the edge of that circle. And you're only responsible for the things that you excel at. You don't have to be everything to everybody. You just have to lead within your strength. And then that group of people is going to have other leaders within their circle that sit at the edge. And they're going to add their strengths as well. Now, as you get better and better at leading, as you become more purposeful in leading, and you get better at what you consider your strength to be, you're going to find that through confidence and through repetition, you're going to have the ability to work with bigger and bigger circles. Better than that, you'll find that you'll be able to leverage your relationship with other leaders on that circle to get extra circles. And then you can just grow and expand from there if that's your choice. But I go back to, I believe that everybody is called to a certain level of leadership. Maybe you're just going to be a good parent and raise your kids. Okay, you're the leader. You're the leader of your home. You're going to be in a small group at church. You're going to lead something there. You're going to coach the Little League baseball team. Something, somehow, some way, I believe everybody is called to some example of leadership. And when I really take that to heart, and I go back to the subject we were talking about 5 minutes ago, and I go back to business sales falls on deaf ears. Who's the leader in that example? Am I the leader because I'm offering the product and I have the ability to offer that business, a really good crutch to start to hold themselves up and to begin to build and add culture to their business and see growth? Does that make me the leader in that position? Or is it really the person that I'm pitching to? They're the leader because they get to go, nah, I'm good. And I think it's interesting in these moments of living, these moments of real life interconnection with human beings, when we have unestablished boundaries and roles, right? There are some assumptions that are made. And a lot of salespeople think that they're not leading, that they're not in control, that they are subject to the whims of others because you're waiting on an approval from somebody else. But I would submit to you that based on the idea that everybody is called to leadership and we all have the ability to add value, think about the value the Power Sport Academy brings to the average power sports dealer. Think about all those people that are within that business that are going to get live coaching on a monthly basis through that program. And so, are you the leader during the pitch? I guess it's in how you perceive yourself. And that is one of the most interesting things I think about leadership. I've been a lifelong study of leadership and communication, whether it's, John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, Dean Grazioso, right? Yeah, Grazioso. It doesn't matter who I'm studying under. I really internalize a lot of what they teach and a lot of what they say. And then I've really been focused on this whole action leadership from the edge. I believe that John Maxwell was completely correct when he said that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. But then I also think what causes genuine influence, not influencers on Instagram, what causes genuine influence with other people. And to me, it's the action. So that's why I say action leadership from the edge. And when I think about that, it makes me think, in that particular situation, I am the leader in that conversation. I am the leader in that interaction. And so if that's the case, I really should have asked a better question. Looking back on the situation when he went, nah, I'm good. As the leader up here, I should have been more proactive. I should. And now this is not a thing about regret. So I don't want us to go down that rabbit hole. But what I want to do is I want to examine, what would a good leader do in that situation? How would you redirect somebody? How would you, it's not really a sales objection. They're not going, it's not worth it. They don't even know what I'm selling yet. In fact, here's the killer part of it. And I don't even know if I've mentioned it on this message yet or not, because I've gone a little long-winded. But when I contact these dealers, I'm not even selling them training yet. I'm giving them access to a free course that enables them to kind of sample the way that we work with people, the way that we train people, the way that we try and build people up through communication and leadership, and give them just a taste of how that can affect their business. And it's free. So when the guy goes, nah, we good, I will admit in that situation, I really dropped that ball, because I could have said, dude, I'm not selling you nothing. I'm just trying to give you access to a free course. But the truth is, I want to sell him $11,000 worth of training when he's done with that course. So I think in my mind, I was like, and I'll admit this now here and be transparent with everybody live. In that moment, I thought to myself, I don't even want to deal with a guy that's happy with mediocrity. My training business isn't about helping people be average. I want to work with winners. I want to work with people that are hell-bent on success. I want to work with people that are going to double down and make it happen. But did I give Bob a real chance to show if he was that person or not? Or did I just take him at his word when he went, nah, we good? It's a pretty good question, I think. Folks, I'd love to have your feedback on that. And if you watch this far, congratulations. We've got the YouTube channel over at Mañana No Mas. The Power Sport Academy is the project I've been talking about a lot lately today. And Mañana No Mas is where we build projects like the Power Sport Academy for other businesses. So if you're in marine, automotive, you need an HR training site, some kind of an onboarding site, something like that. That's what our Mañana No Mas division does. So have yourselves a great day, and I will talk to you later in the week. Bye-bye.